the Carolina Panthers are still perfect. For about 40 minutes in today's game against the New York Giants, the Carolina Panthers played perfect football. But it's the flaws and imperfections that they showed in key times of the game today that cause a lot of people to still doubt whether the Carolina Panthers are a legit Super Bowl contender and whether they will make the Super Bowl in 2015. But Carolina still undefeated after their win over the New York Giants, 38-35 here at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Cam Newton, the player that a lot of people think will win the 2015 NFL MVP, had another amazing game. His third game throwing 5 touchdown passes in a game. His 5th touchdown pass came with 5 minutes and 32 seconds left in the third quarter. That touchdown pass to Ted Ginn Jr. gave Carolina a 35-7 lead and capped off a 28-0 unanswered run by the Carolina Panthers. But after that, the Giants awoke from their slumber to somehow tie the game at 35. They had a late touchdown in the third quarter and scored 3 more touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Now, the Giants did have help from the Carolina Panthers, one of the best defenses in the league, and you would expect them to close out a game after being up 28 points. Well, they didn't. The offense for the Carolina Panthers had a field goal block. That's more the special teams than the offense. The offense, late in the fourth quarter, Cam Newton fumbled a quarterback-running back exchange. It was picked up by the Giants. The Giants turned that into a touchdown to cut Carolina's lead down to 7 at 35-28. And almost immediately after the 2-minute warning, the Giants tied the game on a 4th down touchdown pass from Eli Manning to Odell Beckham Jr. to tie the game with 1:46 to go in regulation. And this MetLife Stadium crowd was a roar. But the Carolina Panthers showed their championship heart and mettle with a last-second drive led by Cam Newton, Graham Gano kicking a 43-yard field goal as time expired. The Carolina Panthers now 14-0 on the season, the 4th team in NFL history to start a season 14-0. And after the game, I got a chance to talk with star linebacker Thomas Davis of the Carolina Panthers, and I asked him to begin our conversation, what were his emotions and the team's emotions immediately after a game in which they experienced both the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
You know, it's definitely a great feeling to come away with the victory, you know, and remain undefeated right now. But at the same time, we have to do a much better job of executing and finishing down the stretch.
So it's more what you have to do to improve instead of showing the resolve and coming away with this victory knowing that you guys have the resolve.
Yes, absolutely, because it never should have come to that. You know, when you have a team down, we have to do a much better job of making sure that we go ahead and finish the game. And that's something we're going to talk about all week. We're going to go back and look at this film and see where we messed up in some areas and where we didn't execute like we were supposed to, and we'll fix it.
Without looking at that film just yet, what do you think went wrong?
It's hard to say. You know, it's kind of hard to say. They made more plays than we did down the stretch, and we can't allow that to happen.
But your team got the play at the very end, those plays on offense as well. How confident are you guys as a defense just watching the offense, especially without Jonathan Stewart today, do what it did today?
Cam Newton has been sensational all season long. He's been a guy that's led this football team, and you know, we didn't have any doubt once he got in the game that we were going to get that opportunity to win the football game. So they took us right down the field, and Graham did a great job of putting it up through the uprights.
This game was rough, especially when you guys were on defense. A lot of chippiness with Josh Norman and Cortland Finnegan, with Odell Beckham Jr. as well. Did you think that this game was going to bubble over?
Not at all. You know, the refs did a great job of, you know, making sure that calmed down, you know, was going on early in the game, and you didn't see much of it later in the game. So I think they did a great job of, you know, controlling the situation.
Was it an emphasis to really get, I guess, Odell Beckham off of his game psychologically?
No, not at all. You know, it was all about going out and playing the game. We understand that when they're taking the field, they have 10 other guys on the field at the same time. So we can't put too much attention on Odell, although he is a great player and he's capable of making a lot of things happen, but we have to stay focused in on their offense and not just Odell Beckham.
The cliche is one game at a time, but 14 games at a time and 14 wins in the regular season. How important is 16?
Got to worry about 15. You know, that's our focus. We got an Atlanta team that we have to play next week, and you know, playing in their home, it's a division game, and they know us and we know them, and it's going to always be tough when you playing in the division, and we just got to be ready for those guys because we know they're going to be ready for us.
Ron Rivera and Greg Olson mentioned how they hear the chatter about your team being undefeated, but question mark still. Do you hear about it, and do you use it as motivation or a chip on your shoulder?
We hear about it. We talk about it, but at the same time, we remain focused on what we have to do, and we have to go out and we got to compete hard, and we got to play the football game. You know, people can sit around and predict who's going to win this, who's going to win that, but at the end of the day, it's all about playing the game, and that's what we've been able to do for 14 weeks.
I don't think a lot of athletes will admit that they hear the chatter or read the newspaper talk. Why do you guys, I guess, embrace that?
We don't necessarily embrace it, but we hear it. You know,
and then you mention it. You say it.
We watch Sports Center. We watch all the NFL Network shows, so we understand. We hear people talking, but at the same time, we don't lose focus on what we have to do.
Honestly, what does it make you feel when you hear that chatter? Personal.
I honestly don't care about it, to be honest with you. It's all about going out, like I said, lining up and playing the games, and that's what we've been doing.
The New York Giants lost this game, and at many points in this football game, the New York Giants, specifically Odell Beckham Jr., lost their cool. Odell Beckham Jr., the star wide receiver, went up against the star cornerback for the Carolina Panthers, Josh Norman, and those two players literally traded blows during many plays in this game. Odell Beckham Jr. actually got flagged for 3 personal foul penalties in this game. Josh Norman and that Carolina Panther defense got into his head. It was clear, it was evident, and the Carolina Panthers took advantage of it and raced out to that 28-point lead. But the Giants were able to come back, and they almost pulled off the joint biggest comeback in NFL history in the regular season, that being a 28-point deficit. The Giants faced a 28-point deficit in the third quarter, tied the game at 35, but came up just short. And the New York Giants may come up just short in terms of achieving a playoff spot in 2015. They are now 1 game behind Washington in the NFL standings in the NFC East. Washington 7-7 after their victory today against the Buffalo Bills. The Giants are 6-8. They need to win their final 2 games of the regular season next Sunday night in Minnesota against the Vikings, then right here in the season finale against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Carolina Panthers, once again, 2 games away from perfection. They will face 2 division rivals to end the season, on the road against Atlanta and then at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Carolina Panthers played this game without their star running back, Jonathan Stewart, but their offense, for the most part, was humming against the New York Giants defense. But at the very end of the game, they had to hold on, kick a last-second field goal, but they got out of New Jersey and MetLife Stadium with another victory. Carolina 14-0 after their 38-35 victory over the New York Giants. From MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, this is Adesina Koiki, the News Hub.